Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is Amy from With Love by Amy, and today we're going to make this card using Lawn Fawn stamps mostly, and dies. This Sprinkled with Love set, this is something I never do. I actually bought this whole set with all the dies and the add-on dies too. So I have the stamps and then the 2 die sets. This is something I've never done. I've never bought like all the stamps and all the dies for a set. And then I'm also going to use some stamps from this waffle flower set. Unfortunately, they're no longer available. That waffle flower set is no longer available, I found out after doing this video. But it's something I feel like you could easily draw. The little donut and the muffin and stuff I didn't end up using the little lollipops either. I did color in all of these things with my OLO markers. OLO, I don't know how to say it, but they're pretty cool. I purchased those with a gift card I got for my birthday because I didn't have any alcohol markers and I wanted something different than Copics, and these seemed like a really cool new alternative. So I used the gift card that I got for the markers and I ordered them. I will try to put a list in the description box of the markers that I used. However, the colors that I had didn't turn out the way I would have hoped that they turned out for this project. They're great colors, don't get me wrong, but they're just not the colors that I didn't have what I wanted for the stove and stuff. I wanted more of like a grayer gray, and you'll see I use a Sharpie at one point to get a different gray than I have, in my OLO markers. So there's that. But that's on me because I picked the colors that I thought I would like for most of the projects I would have. And obviously, I don't know what I'm doing. I just used the gift card and I bought what I could afford with my gift card. So hopefully for Christmas, I will be able to get some more markers and expand my collection because I really do enjoy the markers and they look cool. They're just not, it didn't turn out how I thought it would with the colors that I had, but it's all good. In the end, the idea comes across. And even though I put this recording of the coloring the stove in double time, it still takes me a really long time to color this stuff. And this whole idea of the card, I knew I wanted to use this stamp set, and I also wanted to use the Ink Road stamps that you'll see me use later. The stamp set is called Ya Filthy Animal by Ink Road Stamps, and it's based on the movie Home Alone, which I grew up loving. So you'll see later how I incorporate it. However, I knew I wanted to use the stamp sets together and the dies and stuff, but I didn't really have a clear picture of how I wanted it to turn out or whatever. So you'll see how I piece it all together and kind of like my thought process that goes along with it as it progresses, because honestly, I just chopped out the pieces. I edited out the pieces of me having, creative blocks and stuff, but I literally just worked along as I went and saw how saw how it was going and saw what it needed, kind of thing. So I didn't have a clear picture in my head before I started. So now the stove is all colored with that marker, and we're moving on. And we're finishing it up, hopefully, because it is taking entirely too long for me to color this. And I'm not even doing any super cool blending or anything. I don't know why it took me so long. Maybe coloring isn't really my thing, but it didn't feel like it took that long when I was actually doing it. But here I'm showing you a couple of the markers. I will get better at this showing the colors thing. Maybe I'll even get so awesome like some people do, and I'll stand the lids up so you guys can see them when you're watching the video. That would be pretty helpful, wouldn't it? Yep, definitely. And here I am using my Sharpie because I didn't have enough variation in my colors of the OLO markers. And I colored the little cookie sheet off screen. I did die cut and stamp a whole bunch of other little things from the Sprinkled with Joy is the name of the stamp set from Lawn Fawn. I stamped a whole bunch of little things like the cookies and stuff like that and the frosting. I didn't end up using a whole bunch of those things. And you saw that in the beginning I stamped a whole bunch of the donuts and lollipops and stuff. But I'm going to make this oven look really legit, and I'm going to put some clear acetate on the door of the oven for the pop-out feature or the interactive feature. So here we are cutting out the acetate, and then I'm going to glue the acetate onto the door of the stove. And there we go. It's all glued together. Oh, I'm gluing it right now. Yeah, apparently I got ahead of myself there. But here we are gluing the door, the acetate onto the door. And then the background, there I am. I'm gonna color it all black because I want the oven to be black in the back. And then here's the sentiment I'm gonna use that I want on the top of my card. And I don't really have any people. I wish I could have had a person that looked like Kevin McAllister to put in this scene that I'm creating. However, the only little people that I have, like lawn fawn sized little people, they all have Halloween costumes on. None of them look like Kevin McAllister. And none of the costumes are normal enough looking. So here we go. We're just doing some stamp surgery. Oh, actually, is this stamp surgery yet? No, here we go. I'm going to do a sentiment on the back of the oven. And then we're going to heat emboss it in red. That says, an entire cheese pizza, just for me. And if you guys remember, I know that Kevin didn't cook his cheese pizza. He ordered it from the pizza guy. But I had to work with what I had. So here we are, making a little cheese pizza to go on and now we are doing some stamp surgery, and we cut up that sentiment that I'm eating junk and watching rubbish, you better come out and stop me sentiment. We did some stamp surgery on it so that it would fit inside of that speech bubble from My Favorite Things. That speech bubble, unfortunately, is no longer available, so I listed in the description box below some different speech bubbles that you could use. All right, so the stamp surgery that I'm doing here, I'm just cutting the words so that it still makes sense how the words are aligned and they fit inside the speech bubble. Like you see, I cut it in half vertically and then horizontally too. And then we're going to use the VersaFine black ink, and we're going to stamp it on some white cardstock. And perfect. On the first try, it comes out beautifully. And then I'm going to use my Hero Arts nesting oval dies to cut that out. There they are, the infinity dies. And we're going to cut out that sentiment so that it fits inside, I guess, of the speech bubble. And that's the one I used. Obviously, you could just line it up there and check it out to see if it works for whatever you're using. Or if you have a different shape speech bubble, you can use a different shape or just freehand cut it. I honestly could have just traced around the outside of that speech bubble die and cut the whole entire shape by hand. But I thought this was fun and easy because I just got those oval dies and I wanted to play with them. So that's what I did. And then we're going to do a little surgery on the die cut. We're going to trim out the word hello. And I'm not going to waste the hello word in the rest of the pieces. I'm going to stick them back in the envelope with the die cut. All right, and then we're going to put together the oven. We're going to glue that together. Oh, we're putting the little handle on the oven too, so you know to pull the oven open. The stamp set does come with a little tag that says pull here or something. I may add that. I didn't add it when I took the pictures of the card, but I may add it going forward. I don't know. It depends. As of right now, it seems like the card kind of flops open when you take it out of the envelope, so maybe I don't need that pull here thing for the pizza to come out and to see the secondary sentiment that I put on there. But I guess we'll see how it goes as I, decide who I'm going to send it to. And correct me if I'm wrong, leave a comment below if you know what time it is, but when Kevin McAllister decides that he's going to race home and have his, revenge on the bad guys, I think it's 9 o'clock. That's why I put 9 o'clock on the stove clock. I could be wrong. If you know what time it was when he raced home, because I remember the bell and it was, dinging for the time that it was, and I think it was 9 o'clock at night, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know. If you know what time it was, let me know. I didn't have time during the creation of this movie to go find Home Alone and watch it in its entirety to find out for sure what time it was. So I just guessed. And what I'm doing here in the video is I'm making a little pizza. I die cut out a circle die cut with my waffle flower nesting circle dies, one that would fit on my cookie sheet that I have there, because I had guessed how big to make one previously and it was too big, so I had to redo it and make it smaller. But I think this pizza turned out more pizza-like anyways. And then I'm going to adhere my little pizza onto the cookie sheet with some glue. I don't really know if this is how you're supposed to use the interactive feature of this card, just by stuffing the cookie sheet in the oven. I don't really know, but that's what I decided to do. And I'm pretty thrilled with it, especially since I decided to hide that sentiment back there. And then we're going to color the little shapes, all the little goodies that I had. And we used mostly a red Olo marker, and I think I put the color up there. I promise I will get better with putting the caps so you can see them, so you know what color I'm using. But let's be honest, I'm not a super awesome colorer, honestly. My son could probably do just as good of a job, and he's 5. But here we are coloring in the little cupcakes and stuff. And I cut out a whole bunch of these things, like I did the lollipops and the donut and the frosting and some cookies, and I didn't really know, like I said in the beginning of the video, I didn't know where I was going with this. I didn't know what all I was going to add. So there I am arranging a bunch of goodies onto that thing, and I freehand cut out that little oval so it would fit on the top of the stove so he could have a tray of goodies, because, you know, he's eating rubbish. So I wanted to try to make it look sort of like a plate or a tray or something. So I put the cupcake on there. I put the donut, which is disproportionately large, I guess, compared to the cupcake. And then I put the cookies on there, and I wanted to be able to still see the time, so that's why I didn't end up using the lollipops, because they would have blocked the clock. And I didn't use those lollipops or the frosting that I colored. So there we go. And here we are just assembling. I put the red or the black speech bubble around, and then I glued it, and it's all glued together. And then we got to do the triangle so it looks cohesive and complete. I'm just trimming down the little triangle before I glue it on there. I will say that I love my Make Art station for doing projects like this, because every little layer that needs to be glued together, you can just glue it and stick a magnet on it, and it will adhere nicely and stay put. Because I do have a cat, and so he wrecks things. All right, so we're going to make the card base. It is for a slimline card. The finished size is 3.5 by 8.5 inches. And that paper that I chose, it's a very old double-sided or designer series paper from Stampin' Up. And I thought it kind of looked like the wallpaper in the Home Alone movie. So that is why I chose that paper. And I decided it had to be a slimline card to fit that speech bubble. And then I decided it didn't look complete. Like, why would the stove be sitting on the wallpaper? So I thought I would make a tile floor. And that's what I'm doing there, is I'm doing 1/2-inch tiles. And on the scoring thing, I want to call it a score buddy, but it's not. It's a Stampin' Up scoring thing. And then I just I'm rubbing the ink pad. That's Skeleton Leaves from Gina K Designs, and it kind of looks like tan tiles. And then I'm gonna glue that down on the bottom of my card so that it looks like a tile floor. So it kind of grounds my stove and my whole little kitchen, I guess. That is my whole little kitchen. What are we saying here? I'm adhering all the things to the card now and positioning them how I want them to be. And I think it's awesome. Let me know in the comments what you think and how you would have done it differently. Yes, I know Kevin did not get a pizza or he did not cook a pizza for himself. I know he got a pizza delivered, but I was working with what I had. Let me know what you think. And here's the finished product. Thank you so much for watching. And there it is, interactive. It's so fun. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to come back soon and like and subscribe. It really helps me out. I appreciate it so much. Thank you and have a great day.